Magandang gabi o umaga sa ating lahat. Welcome to our 365 Daily Devotion Bible Characters Edition. Ngayon ay patuloy na pag-aaralan natin series at pangkasahan natin ngayong gabi ay patungkol sa buhay ni Joseph at ng Pharaoh or no, Pharaoh's dreams. So, God's vindication. So, for a long time, Joseph waited in prison, no? He had helped others, spoken truth, and remained faithful, yet he was forgotten by those he served. Days became months, and months turned into years. From a human perspective, Joseph's life seems stalled, even wasted. No? Silence filled the space where answers should have been, and it could have felt as if God had delayed or withdrawn his help. Yet, God was never absent. No? At the exact moment appointed by heaven, Pharaoh was troubled by dreams no one could understand. So what looked like coincidence was divine orchestration. So Joseph was remembered, summoned, and suddenly lifted from the depths of prison to the heights of leadership. Joseph's rise was not the result of chance, talent alone, or human favor. It was God's vindication of a faithful servant, providing that God's timing is always perfect and His purposes never fail. The scripture says that in Genesis chapter 40 verse 23, the chief cupbearer, however, did not remember Joseph. He forgot him. So sabi sa katuruan natin dito nung una, God remembers the forgotten. So Joseph was forgotten by people, but he was never forgotten by God. So human memory is unreliable, especially when convenience fades. But God's remembrance is rooted in covenant and faithfulness. So the silence Joseph endured was not evidence of neglect. It was part of God's divine process. So this truth teaches us that God's silence does not mean God's absence. No? Often God works behind the scenes while His servants wait in obscurity. What feels like delay is frequently divine alignment, preparing the right moment when God's glory and purpose will be most clearly revealed. Second is God compares the one He promotes. So before Joseph was promoted publicly, he was formed privately. Prison was not a pause in his calling but a classroom for character. There Joseph learned humility, patience, wisdom, and dependence on God. So when Pharaoh called for him, Joseph was ready because God had already done the deeper work. So God does not elevate unprepared hearts. Promotion without preparation leads to pride and collapse, but preparation produces endurance and faithfulness. So Joseph's readiness was not accidental. It was the fruit of years of unseen obedience and trust in God. Third is God promotes His servant for His mission. So Joseph's promotion was not merely a reward. It was an assignment. God raised him up not to satisfy personal ambition but to preserve nations and fulfill divine purpose. Joseph understood this when he gave God full credit for interpreting Pharaoh's dream. So God's promotion is always missional. When God elevates His servants, it is so they can serve others, reveal His wisdom, and advance His redemptive plan. True success is not position but purpose fulfilled under God's authority. So simple lang ang ating application. Una, wait patiently because God never forgets. Pangalawa, train for your next promotion. At bilang panghuli, honor God by fulfilling His mission.